All right, so good morning. Um, Starting the video with right? So I'm Kay. I honestly don't know if this would be the very first video that I actually upload. Like, I've been making videos for a while and just getting comfortable with the camera and everything, but I have not uploaded a single thing and trying to come up with intros and this and that. That's still in progress. Um, But yeah, it's been a while since I've made videos, and this situation is something that I've just kept feeling like, yeah, girl, you need to make a video about it. Don't know who it'll reach out to, but there really might be. This experience is so different. There has to be at least one person out there, hopefully it gets to them, where they either have had the same experience and acquired a different lesson in it all or a different understanding of it all, or maybe it'll happen for someone later on, like who knows. But I just felt like it was something that's just too different to just keep within myself and the select individuals that I've shared it with. So yeah, and I have given it thought of like, okay, do I want to also go ahead and name the companies that are involved in this situation? I was just thinking about it and I feel like I don't want to. Like, I'll save that for the reviews because as I'll talk about this, I've come to realize it's not quite, at least for one of the companies, it's not so much their fault as I thought. Um, Depends on how you look at it, but I don't think so. So we'll get to that. So we'll call them company A and B, and I'm going to say from right now that this is going to be a really long story because it was and still is a long story and situation, and it's very stressful. And who knows, maybe after I say all this, maybe I won't post it, but maybe I will. I really think I will. And with that being said, like, me being new to all this, I would love to throw in the sound effects and the razzle dazzle, and I would love to have the edges on fleek and all this and all that. But guess what? It's not gonna happen because I think that's kind of what's been delaying me from making more videos and how do I say? Yeah, making more videos and even starting my page officially because I'm like, oh, I want to get a chance. I made the videos, now I want to get a chance to edit them. And because I don't have the time to do that right now, and I know a lot of YouTubers are busy, but if you're new to the game, you got to take some extra time to figure some things out before you get into your flow. And I haven't been able to do that yet. So I decided that, if I'm going to upload this, I want to do it pretty raw without me feeling like I have to cut things out and, throw razzle dazzle. So I'm giving y'all my disclaimer, and more than likely it's going to be uploaded as is. Maybe, hopefully in the future we can add the razzle dazzle, but yes. So, all right, like I was saying, it is going to be pretty lengthy, and although I would love to make it concise for y'all, for the people with short attention spans like myself, I'm the kind of person though, if it's really interesting and I feel like there's like substance to it, I will watch or listen to the whole thing through. Like podcasts, I will listen to a whole 45-minute one. Some I'll skip past, like right now you're really chatting, but I won't close out. I'll still listen feeling like there's probably more in this that the person has to offer, has to share, So if you're a person like that, then hey, cool, this works for you. If you really can't sit through it, I understand. Then that just means it's not for you. Shirt wise, I had a black shirt on, and it had a logo on it, and I just didn't want to falsely represent anyone, or you know how that goes. Like, so hopefully nobody knows where this is from, but if you do, hey. All right, so getting down to it, you guys, can't rush this experience. So here we go, true story time. All right, so I always thought I had 20/20 vision, y'all. Okay? Like, where my parents would be like, especially my mom, she'll be like, eat your carrots, it's good for your eyes. I was always eating carrots. And then I always felt like I was seeing the results from that. Like, I could see, I'll be the person where somebody's like, oh, I can't see that. And I'll be like, oh, it says whatever, whatever. And then they'll be like, how can you see that? And I'm like, girl, my eyes are, my eyes are good. Like, thank God. you know, that was always me. And the thing for me though is I experienced, so look, this comes with a lot of different things. So we'll see which part of the story connects to who is what I'm trying to say. Part one is I deal with what I believe is called visual snow. And what that is, in short, is staticky vision. I actually found a video a couple months ago that laid it out pretty well. And don't quote me. Like I said, this is just for me to upload it. I'm not throwing in links and all that. All I'm saying is not my information. I just looked it up. It was saying like you literally see like a layer of static on top, and that can be transparent for some people, which is me, and it can come across as, I guess, colorful for other people. And when I'm looking around, it's because I'm trying to like explain it as I see it right now in this moment. But you could even like read something and then see those words. Like you could be looking at, like right now, I'm looking at my mirror. You could read something and then look at your mirror and see the lighting of the words, like the shapes of the words across your mirror. Like it's so weird. It's like taking what you just read and smacking it as a transparent, glitchy form on top of what item you're actually looking at. You can see it a lot if you're staring at a white wall, like, yeah. So, I mean, I've had this since I was a kid, and I just got kind of used to it, but I knew it was there. And it would come times where I'm trying to say, you're trying to upload a picture on Instagram, you're trying to see your picture and make sure you can identify if there's any like marks or something in your photo, or, you know, if you had a little crusty or something, you're trying to see it, but I have to look extra hard at my face to see it, because I have to look past that transparent layer of flashing lights and static, and so it can get frustrating. So at a point, and I'm in my 20s, so at a point I'm like, all right, 2019, I'm like, you know what, let's look into this and see what's going on. Went to the eye doctor. They did all the standard testing, and they're like, girl, you got 20/20 vision. I don't know what it is you're experiencing, but like your eyes are fine. Okay, cool, nice to know I have 20/20. And like, yeah. So, and this is the part I don't understand, because here we were now in 2022, and I just decided, I think I let it go then, but I decided to revisit it now because it really was starting to get to me. Like, I'll be trying to see things and I'm like, I can't really see past all the static. But you know what it was? I did the test again at a different location, and the guy was like, I mean, you can see 20/20, but you actually are experiencing blur, and you have a form of astigmatism. And he felt like, because he didn't know what visual snow was, and I didn't tell him the term at the time. I just tried to say, like, you know, I have staticky vision. So he felt like it was just a type of blur that I was experiencing. It's crazy that it's already 8 minutes, like, but anyways, so I was just trying to make sense of it, and up to now I'm like, so why is it that those people said I had 20/20, but you know, this test is showing that I actually, basically he said I needed glasses, like I'm seeing a little bit of a blur. And he's like, yeah, you can see 20/20, but your eyes are like straining to see it. So I don't know if in 2019 my eyes actually were okay, and then as time progressed, like all of a sudden maybe that's why I found it necessary to address it again, because my eyes had gotten a little worse. And so it's static from before plus blur now. I really don't know. Or I don't know if I always was seeing blur and just used to it. I really don't know. That part is an enigma to me. But here we were. He said I needed glasses, and he had me wearing the pair of lenses that he thought would fit me best. And you know, we step outside, not outside, but in the hallway that can show like the outside. So he had me looking at the trees, and I'm like, okay, well, it looks the same. So are you sure these lenses are for me? He's like, all right, but take them off. And listen, y'all, it was blurry. Like I could see, but it definitely looked a lot more like blurred out than when I had those lenses on. I'm like, what? It wasn't blurry like that when I walked in here. Let me tell y'all how. Again, I don't want to rush this. I want y'all to know like how I felt, what I was thinking. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. And he's like, yeah, because the way your eyes are, you don't really know that you're missing out on something until you're shown something else. As to say, like, you didn't know you were seeing blur until your eyes saw, like, this is how things could look if they were clearer. And that made sense, right? But I got home and I was trying to process it, and I started feeling sad, and I started thinking, like, no, my eyes were fine. And I'm thinking, like, did they do something to my eyes? Like, when they were going to do the test and the girl put the eye drops, like, did that mess up my eyes all of a sudden? Like, I was like, are there doctors out there that will really mess up a person's eyes just because, or for business? Like, I was getting a little paranoid. I'm like, girl, don't be one of those paranoid people. But, like, I just didn't know what to think. It wasn't making sense to me. There was something specific I wanted to say too. Oh, what convinced me though is before I even went in, I was like reading stuff from the TV with my family, and we were kind of at a distance between the TV and like the bed. And so I was like, hold on, I gotta get closer. And let me sit in like the chair right in front of the TV. And then so, you know, my mom and I both realized that instance, and we're like, okay, maybe I'm struggling to see a little bit. So when we found out I actually do need glasses, we both referred to that incident like, okay, maybe I really did, because remember that day I had to move closer to the screen because I felt like I was struggling to see a little bit. So again, I don't know if this is new. I try to sit and think back of times I felt like, say like on the clock, things were starting to look fuzzy, but I don't know. Either way, I was okay. Like, it did feel kind of wonky in my eyes. And I guess now that I know what's going on, I definitely notice it more and it gets frustrating, but we'll get to that. So fine. Step 1, go to the doctor. Step 2, find out you need glasses. Step 3, accept that you need the glasses, right? So I'm thinking about, I'm like, man, that's going to be a hassle. Like, having to worry about I know so many people I know a lot of people in this world wear glasses. So one, self-image wise, like, you're thinking, okay, like, how am I going to look with glasses and whatever? And you got to try to digest that. You know, you want to, it makes you appreciate your actual face a whole lot more. You know, I mean, some people just like, oh, I love my glasses, I never want to take them off. Like, I look so much better with them. Like, it just depends on your preference. But where was I going with that? So many people wear them, but I know of so many who constantly like lost their glasses or they broke, and it was just stressful. And learning that they are so expensive, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to deal with that. You know, in times with health insurance, like, I've just recently got into the health insurance world of my own, but like, anytime they're like, oh, you know, you got vision too, I'm like, oh, I'm good, I don't need that. I don't need that. That's the one I don't have to pay for because my eyes are good. Amen, hallelujah. But no, sis, now you gotta get on the bandwagon with it, you know. So just little things like that were getting to me a little bit, but fine. I'm kind of person like, all right, this is what I got to do to make it better. Let's go through the motions. It took me a little bit to digest, and because I'm like, does that mean my eyes going to keep getting worse? Like, those things are scary. Like, even now, that situation occurred from maybe July, August, and it's now December. And so even now, I get like, what is it like for people who really can't see? Like, so for me and my eyes, right now where they're at, because right now I don't have contacts in or anything. So I can see to survive. Like, I know this says arrival. Like, I can read things in front of me, but like after a certain distance, it is blurry and I have to strain. Like, that back there, if I were to stand in the middle of the floor, I would still kind of be straining to read that. Oop. To read that. So things like that. Or if I'm like trying to watch TV and read the caption, I struggle a little bit like that. So after a period of time, if I'm frustrated, I'm like, forget it, let me just throw the glasses on. And again, we'll get to that. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, let me, you know, I can see to survive, but let me just give it a try, see if the static vision will get better, because he felt like maybe that will help the more I wear the glasses. It didn't though. I think that's a neuro situation. So, but whatever. So, you know, I went in there for the static vision, found out I actually needed glasses. all right, everything happens for a reason, you know. That's how I was trying to see it. So I go and I'm picking out my frames. It's the same day I was in the office. And I didn't know that I was supposed to get guided on the type of glasses to choose. I know they told me, all right, these are the glasses covered by your insurance, and then they left me to it. Like, as a first time glasses wearer, I was just there like, okay, I guess I just try on whatever look I like. So I'm thinking, okay, like, let me choose something that hopefully you won't really notice it's on me, but it's on me. I'm thinking it's the clear ones. Listen, no. Don't even, it depends on who you are and just all those characteristics, your complexion, your this, your that. But no, you can still very much see a person has glasses on and see like that difference in their face, even with the clear one. So you might as well just choose something that works. So by the time I chose clear ones, squared ones, if I do edit anything, maybe I'll throw little images in the end of all this for if you want to stay tuned or whatever. But or maybe I'll make it a separate slideshow. But yeah, so the first issue with them, when I had to wait 2 weeks, but when I finally got them, first of all, fishbowl effect. I'm like, okay, I didn't know people had to go through all this with trying on new prescriptions. Like, I thought I would just put it on and okay, cool, that's it. Just like when he showed it to me the first time and everything was all right. I didn't know I was gonna be like feeling dizzy, like what is happening? Like, what? No. Anybody who's been a long time glasses wearer, shout outs to you for pulling through with all that. I understand like a lot of people start from kids, so it's like you just deal with it. Like, you might feel upset or whatever, but then you get over it because you've been wearing it from a kid. But me, in my late 20s, finding out I need glasses, it was just a hard adjustment. Like, I understand, like, in my 40s, late 40s or 50s, fine, all right, it's time, my eyes are getting older. But, like, oh, like, give me a chance to enjoy my 20s without all this BS, you know what I'm saying? So, I didn't know you had to go through all this. Like, I'm trying to just enjoy my life, and I had to be dealing with this hassle. That is going to be the theme. Focus on those words as I continue to tell my story, okay? Like, fine, adjusting to the prescription, but then like it just wasn't really fitting my face. Like, and also I just kept seeing these weird smudges in the lenses. First, I went to them to adjust the plastics. It was plastics, so I went to them to adjust that in itself because it was leaving, sorry, it was leaving marks right here. And then so they like bent it back a little bit or whatever adjustments they had to make. All right, fine, that was better. But then I kept getting these smudges on the lenses, smack in the middle of them. Every time I take it off, first of all, I'll be having them on and all of a sudden things just look a little bit blurry and I'm like, what is that? Take it off, it's these two blurs right in the middle of my lenses. And I'm like, what is that? I started off with, I think, this one, it started off with just one, and then over time it became both of them. And I would try to tell the company A, this, and they're just like, oh, what is that? I've never seen that before. That must be, it took a while. Like, I had to like make an appointment to speak to the doctor himself and tell him like this is what's going on, because I was trying to tell his office folk and they were like, I don't know what that is. It goes away. Like, you would clean it and it would go away, but as soon as I put my glasses back on, it would reappear. And so they weren't giving me much to work with. And one coworker, when I first was choosing the glasses and trying to decide, because apparently with astigmatism, it's supposedly better to have anti-glare. I was like, okay, but what if I don't like it? And the guy was like, well, then that's your loss because we can't take it off or whatever. And I was just like, okay, that's rude. Like, I didn't even say nothing to him because already I'm trying to digest a lot, but he really rubbed me wrong. So now when I'm coming to them about this next issue, I just, like, that's the type of attitude they had. Like, well, it goes away. So, you know, so I wasn't getting anywhere with them. So I found it necessary to just make a follow-up appointment with the doctor, talk to him specifically and say, these are the issues I'm dealing with these glasses. I don't know what this thing is on the lens, but I can't see if it's this blurring smack in the middle of the lenses. So yeah, that's when he was like, okay, these are defective. And first of all, I don't think the lenses, I don't think the frames fit your face. So we're going to go ahead and change the whole thing. Like, we might as well change the frame, change the lenses, and set it up like that. You need something that sits on your nose, whatever. I did not know all of that was necessary for glasses. Again, I thought it was whatever you think looks cute on you, grab it and go. And nobody, when I first was choosing things off the wall, nobody came up to me to tell me these little details. Like, okay, you want to make sure it fits your nose, or, you know, plastics are better in the case of A, B, and C, but in your case, maybe nose pads would be, like, there was nobody telling me any of that. I was talking to someone about the experience at this point in time, and they were like, oh my gosh, like, they're terrible, because where I go, like, you know, I try on my glasses and you have people saying, oh, those look cute on you, whatever. I was like, no, none of that was going on for me. Like, I was very much in my own bubble trying to figure it out. Everybody was just like standoffish, like, so yeah. But then I was trying, I don't know if it's because I talked to the doctor and so he talked to them, and so they were a little bit more involved. Like, the one girl who was helping me, she was kind of giving me more information. I mean, I had to ask too, because apparently too, with the anti-glare, there's different levels, at least for their company. So they charged me $80 standard, and they were like, well, if you upgrade it, then you can probably not have that issue with your lenses. So I didn't know. I was like, well, nobody told me that I had an option to choose from for the anti-glare. I thought it was just one package and that's it. So that's information they should have shared. Don't assume that, oh, it's out of my budget. And I say that because one guy said, oh, it may because it was out of your budget. And I was like, well, nobody even told me the price for me to say my budget. Like, you know, the price range. Nobody told me that. They just assumed, I guess. But so already, to me, that is poor customer service. So in these 20 minutes already, there's a lot of issues going on here, right? Okay. And yet this is just the beginning. Like, I truly wonder if I have to make this a part by part video. I might. So we'll see. But I'm gonna keep going for now. Excuse me. So I'm trying on the glasses. The girl is like, oh, okay, yeah, those look better. They're fitting on your nose better, whatever. They were plastics, but they were brown. And the frame, the first ones I got were like square and it didn't fit my face. It looked very geeky. But these ones looked better. And even the doctor came out and was like, yeah, those look better on your face, a lot better. So cool. And then again, I asked her, like, oh, do you have like other prices for the anti-glare? She's like, yeah, we have a whole chart. Sis, you didn't want to tell me day one that you had a whole chart? Like, okay, but whatever. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe those clear frames weren't for me in the first place, and this is my opportunity to like do a reset, you know? Like, I was trying to see positives in it. So just understand though, this is a process. This is a lot of time to be standing there talking, a lot of energy to be using to communicate, especially if from someone like me working on communication skills with people. It might not seem that way, but when it comes to me in those sort of settings, it's a little challenging, especially when you get attitudes, and it's hard to like not go off or to like not be too much in a shell and let people talk to you crazy, you know, finding balance. I'm trying to do. So, fine, I chose the next plan up, like like $140 up. Yes, I'm saying the price so you understand. And we already know glasses are expensive, so fine. Do what you gotta do to make your life simpler, more convenient. So they were like, okay, cool. It'll be ready in 2 weeks. But I think what happened was I was gonna wait for a different color, and then they said, okay, the other color came in just for me to compare, and I did not like the other color. And then, Lord behold, I found these other frames that were nice. They weren't covered by my insurance though, and that's the next thing. There are options for insurance for trash. I was lucky I found the ones I did. But then I saw that one that wasn't covered by insurance, and it was nose pads, and it looked so nice. And I was like, okay, let me get those instead. So the very first pair I had, it had transitions, it had anti-glare. So I asked, because it wasn't covered by insurance, I said, can I just trade off the transitions and only keep the higher expensive anti-glare and pay the covering price for the frame since they're not covered by insurance? And they were like, oh, I guess. There was some other lady who was kind of rude, like, all right, fine, we could do that, but I'm not letting her choose one of those other, like, name brand glasses. Like, you know, like, and it's like, why? Like, excuse you, why can't I choose the glasses that I want to choose? Like, why can't I do a swap? Like, it's just a swap. It's still money with money, and I'm just paying the difference. Like, that was just weird to me. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but I don't want to spend too much time explaining. So if you have questions for clarity on that, I can answer in text. But yeah, I just didn't, you see what I'm saying? Like, the culture in there was just like, what are you trying to, like, what, because I'm black? Like, at that point, you can't help but wonder, like, is it because I'm black that you feel what? Like, I know I look young, but I'm not a child. Like, do you feel like I'm not at a point where I can afford, like, still, so what? If I want the designer brand, if I chose a more designer, like, brand, and I want to do the same thing and I pay the difference, even if that difference is greater, what's the issue if I'm paying it? So anyways, cool, 2 weeks of being, got the glasses, love them. Okay, I was like, this is so much better. I could see now why all this happened. Like, God wanted me to have these frames instead. They fit me so much better. And I have them over there in the yellow box, but we'll get to that. Excuse me. So I had them on, and these are nose pads. And the nose pad was bothering me on this side. It just kept feeling like extra pressure here. And when you look at it, the two look balanced, right? And I try to tell them, and they're like, the lady will push them apart. I'm like, can you like make it looser? She'll do both of them. And I'm saying this one that constantly still has pressure. On top of that, when I left the same day, as I'm driving, I start to see a blur on this side. And I'm like, what's going on? I get home, and you have to look at certain lighting to see that same mark was appearing in the lens, but now on this side. So I'm like, I just spent all that money. Why am I having this issue again? I'm thinking, what is going on with this company that, like, under the layer, like, there it's all these marks that appear, and like, what is going on? Are they handling the product poorly when they're making it? Like, what is going on? I took it to like 3 other eyeglasses places saying, hey, do you know what's going on? Why this mark keeps appearing? Then I got to go through the process of them saying, okay, let me take it in the back and clean it. Okay, it went away. Is that better? And I put it on, and then it'll come back. And I'm like, it came back. And they're like, yeah, then it might be defected. Like, it looks like maybe it's something under the coating, all this stuff. And I'm like, this damn company, excuse me, I'm like, company A is pissing me off with these poor quality products. Like, I was getting so frustrated. I feel like I had to go all the way around the world to get different opinions. And the thing about it, right, if you're going through all this, wouldn't you want to just be like, all right, just refund me? Yeah. I wanted to be refunded from glasses A, okay? Because I'm like, if I really don't need the glasses, like, I could use them for extra assistance. But like, if I was surviving just fine-ish without them, and I would choose that over all this hassle. And they were like, nope, sorry, we can't refund you because the prescription was already processed through the insurance, and we're not refunding them. Basically is what it is. They want to keep the money that the insurance paid them rather than, and I called the insurance too, and they were like, well, it's up to the company if they want to do the paperwork and the process to kind of reverse everything. And they didn't want to do that. So instead, they would rather put me through all this stuff and choose to remake classes over and over. It just made no type of sense. It was very frustrating. Again, just trying to live and enjoy my life and work on myself. And this was very much getting in the way. It was stressing me out to have to keep trying to express this to them, and they're not understanding where I'm coming from. So, okay, yes, I love the frames, but I'm having the issue with the lens again. And the nose pad was just very uncomfortable. When I got home and I looked, what it was is the nose pad on this side. So it makes a V like that, the nose pad, and then it makes a V. That V, I think, was a little too tight. And so that's why, versus this side, it was looser. So that's why this felt more comfortable. She kept pushing them for the 2 nose pads. But what she was not seeing is the 2 metal pieces here were, it was too tight. They couldn't see that. And I just get annoyed because it's like, why do you have people doing this job if they can't do the job. Like, if you're just strictly office documentation, do that. Hire somebody that knows how to adjust frames, because a lot of people are gonna be strolling in here to adjust their glasses. You need people that actually know what they're doing, people with a certain eye to understand, like, okay, I need to look at this from this angle or whatever, right? So, and it's annoying because you'll try to tell them you're having an issue, and that same rude guy who told me whatever about the anti-glare, here he goes again. Like, I think you're just sensitive on that side. Like, who are you to tell me that? No, I'm not. Like, at first I was wondering, because on top of everything else, I had just pierced this ear when I found out I needed the glasses. And I wasn't trying to let that get in the way of me doing the things I wanted to do. I've been wanting to pierce my ear, so I'm like, I'm still gonna pierce it. And I thought, like, it was in a spot that wouldn't be in the way of the glasses. It is very much in the way. So I had to be dealing with adjustments of the air so it's not bumping the airing. It was just, it has just been a lot of things to be dealing with. So they were telling me when I was gonna get these frames, like, because they're nose pads, if anything, they can swap it for the silicone type so it doesn't leave marks on my nose and it doesn't irritate me because it's softer, it's lighter, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I never swapped them because what it came with wasn't bothersome. Like, this side was fine. It's just that there was that constant pressure on this one. But anyways, I just took it to a different location because, again, I was tired of their attitude, their skepticism, whatever. Because at this point, how many times I done went in there, I felt like every time I went in there, they're like, oh, here she is again. Here she goes again. Like, that was their whole mannerism. You'll see my face and you'll just see it go like. So I went elsewhere. Like, and the thing about it, unfortunately, is you take your glasses somewhere else. If it's not that place's glasses, if they mess up your glasses during the adjustment, then you're kind of screwed, right? So first of all, let's rewind. When I was having the issue with the lenses again, I told the doctor and he was like, okay, if it's still going on with these new glasses, maybe it's the anti-glare. So we're gonna take the anti-glare off, see how you are without them, and if you wanna put them back on, you can put it on. So I'm there like, okay, well, if it's gonna take a whole couple weeks for it to come in or whatever, like, I want my money back. I want my $140 back. And he was giving me attitude kind of about it, but he's like, all right, fine, I'm putting the money back on the card. And on top of that, those glasses came in a frame box that, like, it was straight up like a box, a cardboard box that, like, was punched in, and it looked like disoriented like that, if you get me, inside the case. Like, it had a box like thing and it was kind of like bent out of shape, and I'm like, can I have a new frame box as well, because this is punched in and I don't want that to mess up my lenses. And he's giving me attitude about that. Like, why y'all giving me all these faulty products then? You know, you can't get mad at me. These are expensive. I'm trying to make sure they don't get more damaged, so I need a new case. Like, come on. So anyways, this is what I'm saying. It becomes hard to keep trying to advocate for yourself. So I'm thinking maybe this is practice for me to advocate for myself and communicate. Like, I don't know, but like, it was very stressful. Excuse me. So fine, waited for the glasses. Mind you, here I am going again and again, like, exposing my eyes to what's clearer, trying to get adjusted to this new prescription, to then have to take it off and go without it for days and weeks. Like, you know how confusing that was to my mind, to feel like, okay, I was fine without them. Now I'm being shown what could be better, but oops, sorry, just kidding, you can't wear them because all these other issues going on. And now, like, I'm noticing the blur more and more, and feeling like, man, I need to put on the glasses to feel better and not feel like I'm straining my eyes. But oops, don't have the glasses, can't wear the glasses. Like, that was a lot. So those glasses come in, there's no anti-glare on them, they are plain as day. All types of dust is attracted to it, and it's just like, it looked, and I hated putting them on in a camera, and it just looked, ugh. So I decided anti-glare is for me, but whatever. I'm just trying to make sure that weird smudge in the lens isn't appearing. It was still appearing. So I'm like, well, when they took the anti-glare off, did they just not take it off properly? Because this mark is still appearing. Like, I'm just getting so frustrated. Like, what is going on with these people? What is that person at the manufacturer doing? Like, I don't know. And then again, the issue with the nose pad. And again, they were giving me issues. So I just went somewhere else. And I'm going to leave it here. At this point, I am 35 minutes in. So if you are still interested in this story, stay tuned for part 2. I'll split them up. And yeah, all right.